The New York City mayor's race enters the home stretch, and what's going on in Washington? The Point starts right now. We're going to debate the first debate with the boys, J.C. Polanco, assistant professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, and political consultant O'Brien Murray. So, who won the debate?
Andrew Cuomo won the debate, and the other Democratic opponents gave it to him.
How can you say that?
Because when they attacked him and tried to land a shot, what they would do is give him an opportunity to speak on that issue and pivot to anything else.
Yeah.
In the first 20 minutes, he got more airtime. Eric Adams' name wasn't even brought up until about 18 minutes in when Adrienne Adams brought him up.
Governor Cuomo won that debate, hands down. There was just 20 people on that stage. I mean, you had 9 people. You're polling in the single digits. You have no shot of winning this thing. Why are you up there? And not to mention the fact that it became all about former Governor Andrew Cuomo. I'll tell you this. There was a breakout moment that night, and it was for Speaker Adams. I saw it. I think the city saw it. And I wonder, why in the world is she not polling at number 2 right now? Because
do you think that this debate performance will help her move up?
Absolutely. I sat there and I kept hearing her say the following. What you mentioned, we're doing it in the city council. That too, we're doing that in the city council. All the viewers, if they're being objective, they saw someone there with the experience to be able to go against Andrew Cuomo. It should be number 1 and number 2. And I thought the whole city also saw.
Does it help Adrienne Adams?
It helps her, but it also helps Andrew Cuomo. She got in too late in the race. She got in too late in the debate. And then the AOC endorsement this week that listed her as one of the ones AOC would rank, actually, I think helps Cuomo because the Adams voter goes to Cuomo on a second and third ballot.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're competing for the same outer borough black and Hispanic votes. So does she take votes away from Andrew Cuomo and help Zohran Mamdani?
Maybe on the first round, but when she drops out further down, they go to him.
Yeah, I think that's true. When you see the last at the 10th ballot, former Governor Andrew Cuomo wins by double digits. So you're right. They share the same base of voters, hardworking black and Latino voters, outer borough voters. That's absolutely true. But there's something else that Andrew Cuomo brings to the table, which is 100% name ID. He doesn't need to introduce himself to the city. An enormous amount of money, endorsements of people of all colors and backgrounds. So I think he walks into this, and I think he wins.
The other missed opportunity she had, she could have chosen Mamdani that moment for her number 2 and made a breakout moment. He was the one that got her the campaign finance matching funds she needed. Also, all the Democrats, when they asked who's the Democratic leader in the country, it was amazing how the first one, Scott Stringer, was like, Ubba, and then everyone else took their time again. It's obvious. If you're a New Yorker, the leader is either Hakeem Jeffries, if you want to just list something there, AOC, if you want her endorsement. It would have been so easy for Lander to tag AOC.
Okay, all right, let's talk about this. There were 2 big endorsements in the campaign this week. The first was AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who endorsed Mamdani. Help, hurt, nothing.
It doesn't matter. We all knew that she was going to support Mamdani. They're both socialists. Of course she's going to support him. I mean, who's surprised by that? It's like your viewer saying, oh, JC is Latino?
She ranked Adrienne Adams second. Does that help?
It helps her. It helps Andrew Cuomo. And it really takes Brad Lander down so many notches. Brad Lander said the mayor of Boston. We've got the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. You got the mayor of Boston.
He wasn't the only one, though. He wasn't the only one.
But he didn't pick Elizabeth Warner, who was his number 1 proponent in the last election. He didn't pick AOC. He didn't pick Hakeem Jeffries. He is so out of touch. It just confirms
If he could do it all over again, I'm sure he'd stay in the controller's race. I mean, this was a bad night for him. And quite frankly, I think there's just too many progressives on that stage. And one other thing, I'm sorry, that was glaring, and this is just objective. The Assemblyman Mamdani is wholly unqualified for this position.
Well, we'll get that to it.
And we saw it.
Let me just ask you something. So AOC endorsed a number of people going down the line, but she didn't endorse a number of other people.
Right.
So is that going to force those people, to drop out?
No, I don't think anyone is going to drop out. They're going to do what Senator Ramos recently did, which is just endorse the frontrunner. But you're right. By keeping the other folks off of the radar, it tells the progressives in the city those guys aren't even important.
Wait, we have to talk about this, though. We have to talk about the fact that on Friday, Jessica Ramos, who's going to stay in the campaign, endorsed Andrew Cuomo, saying rank him first. Now that's a double win for him in that, number 1, she's a woman, and she was one of the first people in Albany to call for him to resign in the sexual harassment case. Tell me, does this help him, hurt him, what?
unequivocally helps him. It's amazing that one of the most progressive candidates is the one endorsing him, helps him there. It's a woman, given his history, what he had in Albany. All of that is a positive for him, and it changes the narrative from the AOC endorsement. Don't forget, Ramos and AOC dislike each other, and they have a history there. Her troops are going to come out, and AOC troops are going to come out. It'll be very interesting. Adams was the winner.
I'll tell you this, you're right. It definitely helps former Governor Cuomo. There's something very interesting about that endorsement. If you remember, Senator Ramos comes in and wins against the IDC, whom Governor Cuomo supported, right? So she actually launches and wins during that whole phenomena. And now today, we see an endorsement coming from.
So why did she decide to endorse Andrew Cuomo?
Because it's the right thing to do. She has a future ahead of hers. She sees that she has single digits, has $5,000 in the bank, and she has a lot of time to recover.
So you think she's getting a promise of a job?
No, I never said that.
She did this also because of the Lou endorsement from Mamdani. Lou took away the parks issue right now for the casino in Queens at Citi Field. That is a major issue, and Cohen is somebody that supports Cuomo. She is going to try to put herself in there and stop the Cohen casino at Citi Field.
So you're saying this is really an attempt to stop the casino?
I think for her it's a major attempt at that.
Really? Do you agree with
I
that?
think it's an opportunity for her to continue staying relevant, understanding that she has no shot of winning this race, and endorsing the front runner helps her out. Because I'll tell you one more thing.
Does it cancel the AOC endorsement?
It doesn't cancel it, Marcia. Everyone, all of your viewers know that AOC was going to support the socialists. On what planet are your viewers surprised at the fact that AOC supported the socialists?
What about this? Let's talk about something you raised, which is Mamdani and the experience. Does he have the experience as an assemblyman to run a city that has 300,000 employees?
She said he makes great videos. That's what he's got. And he got a big push early. He took all the win.
He's charming.
He's charming.
He took the win from two old white dudes. Yes, I know. Brad Lander
say white dudes,
and Scott Stringer. Two has-beens, two former controllers, one former, one about to be. They're done. Bye-bye. Long time. See ya.
But he has all these volunteers who are going to get the vote out.
But Marcia, look, and we're being honest. I want your viewers to hear me out. An assembly member represents 125,000 people in a district. He has a district out in Western New York, somewhere in Queens, where they like the socialist stuff. You have a staff of about 4 or 5 people. You're one of 150 people that vote on state budgets occasionally, on time, maybe. You don't have the experience to lead a city at any given time. There's 10 million of us here, over 300,000 employees, 30,000 cops, 2 million kids in our public schools. That's a huge learning curve.
Wait until the general. He'll be on the ballot in the general, and the working families line.
And what effect is that going to have?
It's going to be a winner of this next mayor's race is going to get 30 or 35% in the general election.
If that.
To win this race. The plurality wins it, 30 to 35% win. Mayor Adams can win.
Is he a spoiler, or if he can still...
He'll be a spoiler.
He'll be a spoiler. Look, you know who's wringing his hands right now?
So who wins, Adams?
As of right now, if it's Cuomo that wins this, he'll be in the lead. The question is how much Adams hits into him, how much Mamdani hits into him, and then if they turn out the other vote for Adams, and where Sliwa stays with Republicans, will Adams pull from Republicans as well? Until you see the polling on this with the 4 of them in the race, and there's a 5th person, all 5 will be fully funded by campaign finance tax dollars.
The truth is...
15 seconds.
Okay, Mayor Adams is playing chess. These kids are playing checkers. He's wringing his hands right now, hoping for a Mamdani victory, because if Mamdani wins his primary, Mayor Adams has a good shot of winning re-election with just 25% of the vote. You know it.
And he's got a shot. And he's got a shot with Cuomo and Mamdani and Sliwa and himself and another guy.
Okay, we're cutting it. We have to leave it right there. We'll have to leave it right there for now. But up next, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, head of the Congressional Black Caucus. I'm joined now by Brooklyn Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me from Washington. But before we get started on what's going on there, I wanted to talk to you about the person who had been the chairman of the Black Caucus in Washington before you became the head, and that was Charlie Rangel. And how do you remember him, and how should our viewers remember him?
Well, decorated war hero, dedicated public servant, for over 40 years serving the people of Harlem in the United States Congress, but serving the American people by passing groundbreaking legislation, the first African-American to serve as chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, and just a wonderful, wonderful policymaker. He's a mentor to me and to many. I had the distinct honor and privilege of serving with the Honorable Charles Rangel, and his vision for our nation was always inclusive. But at the core of it were the people of Harlem, the place of his birth, and he will be dearly missed. The CBC members are, all in remembrance mode of how he mentored them and the ways in which he, demonstrated to us the level of public service that we should all be striving for.
I think we all have memories of Charlie Rangel, but the one thing I think we all appreciate about him is he never stopped fighting for the people of Harlem and the people of New York.
Absolutely. He was the dean of the New York delegation for most of my tenure here. And so he will be dearly missed. He will be dearly missed and fondly remembered. His legacy will live on.
So, Congresswoman, there's so much going on in Washington, but I wanted to start out by talking about the travel ban that President Trump has enacted that affects 12 countries and limits restrictions on people from 7 others. What do you think that means for the country and also for your constituents?
Yeah, well, this is really a sequel. We've seen this with the Trump administration before in the first term with the Muslim ban. And that had a devastating impact on the people of the 9th District of New York. This ban covers many more nations, and we've estimated there are upward of 34,000 to 35,000 people within the 9th District alone that will be directly impacted, because we're talking about travel bans to the nations from their homes of origin. And, it's more of the compounding of the real disdain that Donald Trump has shown to communities of color, to nations of color. Many of the nations that are on this list, he referred to in his first term as countries, and he's acting on that. And it's really, truly unfortunate. I'm hoping that we will prevail in the courts against this ban as we did with the Muslim ban.
Some people think that at this time when there's so much hatred and dissension in the country, that this can only add to it. I wonder what your concerns are.
Absolutely. I mean, that has been the MO of this administration, sowing division, discord, and fear in the population, in the U.S. Population. And so to stigmatize these nations, many of whom are not designated terrorist nations, is just it's unheard of, and it's just again a further confirmation of his discrimination and bigotry against communities of color.
So, Congresswoman, everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill that passed through the House, but now there's dissension between President Trump and one of his biggest supporters, Elon Musk. I wonder what you make of this back and forth, and how Elon Musk, who was trying to cut government, now says that the bill is horrible and, in his words, disgusting.
Well, yeah, listen, it further confirms for many of us who voted against this bill. Remember, it only passed by 1 vote in the House of Representatives. That what we saw with this bill will indeed explode the debt in the United States, and let alone the draconian cuts that strike at the heart of the services that the American people need, that the safety net, the compact that we have made with those Americans who are working class and struggling to make it every day, to have access to health care, to supplement the need for the food insecure in our country. There are a whole host of things in what we call the big ugly that will ultimately be of an upheaval in our nation in terms of our way of life. And when I think about the fact that you sandwich that with the tariffs that are taking place, it's a major pressure on the average everyday American. And it's ironic that the wealthiest man in the world is speaking out about this. And I hope that others will begin to do the type of analysis of this big, ugly bill that ultimately upends civil society as we know it.
So my question really is this: since this has to go through the reconciliation process with the Senate, and the Senate is going to send you what will probably be a different version of the bill you passed, will the dissension with Elon Musk possibly cause the Republicans to rethink their support for the bill, and is it possible that it might fail?
Well, you know, that remains to be seen. What I find ironic is that so many of our colleagues didn't even read the bill. And now they're finding out that there are egregious things that were added to this bill in order to get it passed in the House of Representatives that, again, will really create a severe hardship on the American people. A 10-year moratorium on states that are trying to regulate artificial intelligence. What are we doing? We're not protecting the American people, for sure, because we have been dragging our feet at the federal level and putting up those guardrails to protect our people. States have had to move ahead with it. Deregulating the purchase of silencers on guns when we are in a period of time of great dissension in our nation, and you know, guns have become the weapons of choice given this right to bear arms that so many of my colleagues are enamored with. Now people can be gunned down without any ability to hear guns going off. It's just very upsetting that we're even at the point where this is a point of discussion in our interview.
So, Congresswoman, we only have about a minute left, but I was curious about one thing. Do you think that the fact that Elon Musk is saying that the budget increases the size of the national debt will mean that cuts have to be made when it comes back to the House?
Well, see, that's the other side to this conversation. You know, Elon Musk has his own agenda, and a lot of it is contained in this bill. He ultimately wanted to see the shrinking of government, and by any means necessary, except when it comes to, of course, the tax credits and support to EVs that have been, you know, the path that we've been on as a nation to make sure that we can protect our environment by converting. And then at the end of the day, the cuts that they're talking about would, again, put the burden and the hardship on the American people. You know, we already are having difficulty meeting the needs of the American people in an inflationary civil society and economy. So, you know, that will, I believe, push some of our colleagues to rethink what they've passed.
Well, Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. How is the cell service on the subways? And what do New Yorkers object to when their fellow riders pull out their phones? They're weighing in on your point. What do you think about cell phone service in the subway?
It's very spotty. Absolutely horrible. I could never get any service on my way to work.
I check email, you know, surf the web a little bit. It's pretty solid.
I haven't thought about it, but I suppose it's okay.
I mean, it's really spotty.
Oh, service, it's really bad.
In the station, it's fine, but underground, you don't get service, so.
Should there be cell phone service on the trains?
100%.
How come?
Why not? We pay enough money in taxes. Why the hell not?
It should be accessible in case of an emergency or anything like that.
It's dangerous without it, I think.
People would have the ability to report a crime from their phone if there was a need to.
Sometimes you get stuck under. People are expecting you, and they don't know where you are. They can't reach you. You can't reach them.
No, I don't like that. I think people should talk to each other on the train.
Would you talk on the phone on the subway?
Yes.
I probably would.
If it was important, I suppose.
I'd hope people didn't. It might be a little bit rude. I could see that at times.
Not necessarily. Usually I'll just send a quick text, but not talk.
I think if it's that urgent, it can wait, and it's so noisy on the subway as it is. I feel like it's a little disrespectful to people around you.
I probably wouldn't try to all the time because, like, you know, like a restaurant, I think that's kind of rude. But I think, you know, honestly, I probably would end up on the phone.
My conversation is personal, and everybody around me don't need to hear what I'm talking about.
A good point. What's the most annoying thing that people do with their phones on the subway?
Listen to loud music.
Play music out loud.
They play their music. They have speakers.
Blast music. They got these for a reason.
Play music loudly without headphones.
Interview people on the street.
I don't have a phone.
I haven't seen anything annoying, I don't think.
I would say playing videos out loud at full volume with no headphones in.
They watch videos, they turn them up, and everybody can hear you. And I'm a Christian, so I like gospel music. That's why I have my headphone in my ear, so that I can listen to my music and I don't have to disturb other people.
Oh, TikTok videos, these quick bursts of loud, disruptive nuisances. Just loud voices screaming, and then it's on to the next one, so it's not like this steady white noise, just a lot of disruptive bursts.
I mean, is there any way to stop it?
Maybe like an airplane, we give out free headphones.
Maybe a police officer can stop them.
Pick them up, throw them off? I don't know.
I don't think so. It's just part of living in New York City. You have to be okay with what's going on around you.
I guess no. Hopefully they'll read the signs where it says courtesy matters.
There is no way. There's no way to stop any New Yorker.
Oh, come on. There must be some way.
No way possible.
I doubt it. I don't think that, you know, people are going to be people, be human. They're going to do what they want to do. And I guess people feel like it's their phone, they pay the bill, and they could do what they want to do, where they want to do with their phone.